Oh, how's everyone doing? Good, awesome. So yeah, guys. So today I'll share with you some of the things that will help you to make your advertising more profitable, more scalable, and basically a lot of the things that you know about the advertising. I'll show you that those things can be done differently. And also, if you have been struggling with like inconsistency, with your ad fatigue, things like that, so I'll show you exactly how to overcome it. So creatives that serve and sell, how to increase your relevancy score through consumer psychology. So before we get started, a few words about me. So my name is Alex Fedotov. I'm from Ukraine originally. So Ukraine is a country in Europe, and basically I had when I started, I just graduated with zero prospects. As a lot of people, I haven't studied online marketing or Facebook advertising in school, and I worked from my couch in parents' apartment. Didn't speak English just a few years ago. Had to learn it. And before I got into Facebook advertising, before e-commerce, I had learned all sorts of things like eBay, Amazon. Experimented, failed a lot. So this is what I'm new in Facebook headquarters. So a lot of the insights that I want to share with you are actually from there. So that's my workplace back home. The room was very small, so I didn't have a place to put a table. So I actually had to work from. Had to keep my laptop on the bed. So back to this point, in the last few years, we evolved. We started focusing on the Facebook advertising, on e-commerce. So, for example, last year we spent over $40 million on Facebook ads, mostly for e-commerce brands and some information products. Worked with some big clients like Under Armour, Lululemon, Keto Mojo, and other small and medium businesses, and we also run our own dropshipping projects, mostly fueling them with Facebook advertising. So, and guys, how many of you can relate? Because I definitely been here before, and still, these are the things that Facebook advertisers like. How many of you advertise on Facebook? Okay, quite a lot. So, inconsistency, inability to scale your ad spend profitably, ad fatigue every few days, and just cannot seem to figure it out and scale hard, right? I think that's kind of what a lot of people can relate to, because I'm talking to a lot of advertisers in my community, Facebook ads rock stars, and these are pretty much issues with majority of the advertisers. And I'll show you how to make your Facebook ads great again. I'll show you how to find the ideas for your ads that will make your ads, much more profitable. And you'll find out that it's not about some magic like targeting or some specific bidding techniques or anything like that. In reality, it's much simpler than that, and just comes down pretty much to creating good ads. And then I'll show you exactly in tactical ways how to create those ads and specific tools that you can utilize to basically source the unlimited ideas for your great ads. So the 5 steps deep dive audience research process you must do before launching your next ad. So this is the first step that we do before we're launching ads, and these are the main points. So first, remember that great ads sell the product in their own, and I'll show you details what that means. Analyze what your competitors are doing. I'll show you the tools to conduct the competitive research, to know exactly how to position your product, how to position your ads, and how to find more ideas for your advertising. Then how to create customer avatars, but not in a traditional way where it's very boring. I'll show you how to go into details, how to go into very deep psychological things that you can utilize for your avatars, and how to hit those pain points with your ads. Then I'll show you how to adjust your ads targeting to the created avatar, and then I'll show you how to adapt your ads based on different stages of the awareness ladder. So these are the points that we'll go through, and then on each stage we'll have specific tactical applications, specific examples for each of these, how we do it. So first, so great ads sell on their own, right? So like, I don't know if many of you have experienced that if you have good ads, then you don't actually need targeting. How many of you have experienced that? Few people have experienced that. So I'll show you. So these are the examples. Some of our like, you can see some of the ad sets. I mean, you can see like $75,000 spent on one ad set. No targeting, just pretty much just age and country. That's it. No targeting, no magic. Kind of like we haven't used software to dig, some special interest that are like, like there's some people selling the software that allows you to dig some secret audiences that you can target. We haven't done that, and it still worked out. So these are like the ROAS. It's top of the funnel. So ROAS is on the profitable sides, above break-even point. The other one you can see here. So also spent $24,000, $25,000, $23,000, $18,000. This still ad set budgeting optimization still works well, and very open, as you can see, and still works. So no interest, no even like lookalikes. We just let Facebook optimize, right? We just focused our attention from like playing with all of these like little things and obsessing about like bidding and how to raise this bid and how to, maybe this targeting option versus this targeting option and narrowing. We focus our attention to the creative, to angles, and the results will be just mind-blowing. So automatic placement, I think Savannah was talking about this, like automatic placement just allows you to get more ads more scalable. So again, here are no targeting great results. So just broad, just excluding, obviously we're excluding people who have purchased. So we don't want to like hit the same people with people who have already purchased with the same messaging, obviously, but other than that, everything is very open. So you can start with this, right, with analyzing your existing data, right? And when you analyze your existing data, you can go to creative reporting and find out about your best performing creatives. So if you already have data in your ads manager, that could be a great starting point. You can see what creatives have resonated previously with your audience and what ads overall like have been performing the best. So this will give you kind of like some initial indicators what ads could be the most scalable for you moving forward, and also the ideas and the direction for your consequent ads. So you have your menu, you have your ads, you have your ad sets, you have your campaigns. Then next one you have account overview, and within that you can see the creative reporting, which basically pull out the information from your whole account and will give you this breakdown. So you can see here, with this account we've had, these ads, for example, this ad on top spent the most, like spent $65,000, for example, and had 3,200 purchases, and overall it's totally cold acquisition, so it had the ROAS of 2.05. Another one had less sales but the same ROAS, right? So we kind of like looking for ads that not only kind of like that have the most value, but also the best kind of like ROAS throughout all of the targeting options, throughout all of the ad sets that we have been using. So that's kind of we identified these initial things that we see that they're resonating with the audience. Like ad library, so you go in there and you see what's working for other people, for your competition. If your competitors are advertising, you can see what ads they're running right now, what kind of like promotions. So this will give you a great idea of what's working. So as a free tool, you can use it to identify like where your competitors are advertising, like what kind of like ads they're using, what type of creative they're using. So even from this, you can generate a lot of ideas, not exactly copy and paste what they do, but just to give you ideas on what you can do differently. We are using AdSpy. So AdSpy it's a paid tool, but very good tool for research. So you can sort by technology, you can sort by ads, by the dates when the ads have been seen, and you can also sort by even URL. So what ads have been run by to a specific URL, even in the last like 2 years, right? So you can see what changed over time and what ads have worked for your competition. Right, so here in this specific breakdown, you can see Like this is, company in Australia. Like this is company, I don't know where they are, but they're all selling pretty much similar products. And this is a company that also sells similar product, but differentiates, with their product. So obviously you can see they're very similar in the way, but also different in terms of how they position their product, right? So kind of like that would allows you to pull that initial information and break down. So after we've done that, we have accumulated this kind of like initial data. We have this kind of like library. Okay, so this is what's working, right? This is kind of like what's working. This is specific, marketplace. Maybe if you pulled information from your data, okay, so this would work in the past for us. Then we can also create the customer avatars, and we are very precise in our like avatars. So in our avatars, we go like in a very big detail. So we go like, for example, we figure out the name for this avatar, right? So in this case, we call our avatar Mary. We give her like approximate like age, gender, kind of like family situation, also her goals and values, right? So her goals would be like walking like 2-3 hours a day, for example. Her goals would be to have shoes, like for example, she has a medical condition called neuropathy, and she wants to have shoes that would allow her to walk, her without like any issues. Her values would be when she buys products would be quality service and support, and also running to warm up sick legs and feet. Like these are some of the sources of information that so initially just assumption, right? But then I'll show you kind of like how to validate these assumptions with data. So people that she follows approximately, also her approximate like occupation, what she does, whether she retiree. So all of this information, I'll show you exactly how to find it in a very like cost efficient and fast way. And some of the objections that might stop her from purchasing, some of the her purchase process, thought process. Like for example, like does she have to talk to someone before buying the product, right? How she buys products typically, right? So kind of like those things that we kind of like put all of this at the beginning. It's messy. It's a lot of like insights, and then we take those insights and we translate them into like real ads, real targeting options, and kind of like put it all together. So challenges and pain points. So pretty much that's kind of like the core of it. So basically the challenges of this avatar would be pain in old feet, because she's getting older. Obviously she had like a sitting job her whole life, so she has a pain in her feet. She has the discomfort while walking. She has a long-lasting, she likes long-lasting shopping in malls, but she cannot necessarily do it because she has that pain. So that's kind of like how we analyze all of this and kind of like put it together, put all of these assumptions together. So this is the easiest way that you can just gather all of this data and kind of like put it together. So if you already have data in your Shopify, and if you're going like after a specific niche, you're focusing on a specific customer, then all you need to do is just find your 5, 10, or even like 50 most valuable clients, customers, like on Shopify, people that have spent the most, people that have purchased more than 2 times, because like you want to optimize your business around your best customers, and then you would go to their Facebook page and you would check what they post, right? And if you don't have that, like database of customers, right? All you need to do is like very simple hack. You can just go to your competitor's business page and see what people have commented on their ads. I just purchased this, cannot wait, and just go and research those people. It's a very simple way to find this data. So you just go to their Facebook page, personal page, and just check what they post, right? You can identify their needs and problems. You can see what pages they like, because most people have it open and openly available, like what pages they have liked. And you can gather all of this information pretty much within, like 30 minutes. And this information will give you like a lot of insights for like targeting options. This information will give you a lot of insights about like their psychological, profile, whether maybe these people are conservative, or they're very political, or they're very like religious. So all of those like, things will give you a great like base for your advertising and for creating good ads. Check Amazon reviews of similar products. Or if you have like Amazon, you can just go to Amazon, just check the reviews. If you're like dropshipper, like just go to Amazon and check your competitors' reviews. Like those, like just show the main angles that you can use to sell the products. This is, it cannot get simpler than that. So, and you would want to check like both positive and negative reviews, because negative reviews, like when people post negative reviews, these are very emotional things, right? So when people when post, they put a lot of effort into it, and especially those like detailed, long reviews, right? Because then you can use something in your ads that would be, okay, so if you're tired of boom, 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 obviously you cannot use the word you, but, basically that's kind of like the framework. You can utilize those negative points to just tackle them directly in your ads from the start. Another tool that you can use is called Review Index. So this tool this tool pulls the data from Amazon, and you can see it has the major kind of like bullet points. Again, for example, for this product, but it's still definitely worth all 5 stars from the price and build quality. For the price, it's amazing, good materials, price, quality. So this product in particular, it's kind of like, for that market range where it's like cheap, and it's like for that price, it's good. This tool is, by the way, is free, the Review Index. So then you can decide whether you want to position your price also as price kind of like value, kind of like good ratio of price value, or you want to just differentiate from that and you want to position your product with more premium. So kind of like this whole like process will give you a lot better understanding of your advertising, and then once you go through this process, like again, like 1-2 times, then you can just outsource it. You can just give it to your virtual assistant, and then like you just have a file with lots and lots of insights and a lot of possible angles to sell your products. So how to transform these avatars into targeting options? So first of all, pain points. For example, if we have this assumption that, for example, this lady Mary, like she cannot walk for a long time in malls because she has a pain in her feet. Like these are some of the targeting options we can use to start with, like online shopping, engage shoppers, right? So for example, if she has discomfort while walking and all feet, like retirement home, pension, old age, right? These things that we can potentially target. So sources of information like books and magazines, the magazines that we assume at the beginning, right? Obviously everything has to be tested, but we assume that she follows this person, and also we have gathered that data from our research, right? That's kind of like where it all comes together. So objections, right? So for example, if we're aiming for that, lower price mass market, then we can target discount shops, deal of the day, coupon, like Groupon, those kind of things. Then you would want to look for broad interests. This will help us scale with ease without changing targeting, like big audiences, ideally 5-10 million plus. And we want to test one interest per ad set, because if you stack many of them in one, then it's hard to know what exactly works and what doesn't. So an ad created based on this avatar. So that's where like it all comes together, right? So these are the main, like this is kind of this is how it all like comes together. So hundreds of people feed, a lot are shoes. So you can, and then bullet points. Wear them after like foot surgery, prevent blisters and calluses, then walk for hours without any pain or discomfort. So kind of like every major thing that we have researched is outlined here. Obviously, it has to be compliant with policies. It cannot be like too aggressive. So we adjusted it to be softer in that respect. Then we have the shoes on the image. We have the the person avatar, so approximate age that we assume that person is, and we have the testimonial, right? So we kind of like combine all of these elements in one ad, and the thing that would are present in this ad, basically another same age woman's approval, right? So kind of like people relate to people. There's a smiling lady, right, in the ad. Then emphasis on comfort. We mentioned that you can wear them without having pain in your feet. The product itself is clearly seen, bright, colorful image. So that's it. This is just the image, and this is one of the best performing ads. So after you have that, you have all of this kind of like initial base, you can also identify what kind of a stage of awareness your market is, like who you want to reach, right? So for example, this is from Eugene Schwartz, the legendary like marketer, and kind of like the biggest market is people unaware. So there are people that are like unaware that they have a feet problem, right? They don't know, like, it doesn't hurt, so it's fine. Then when it starts to hurt, they're problem aware. Okay, so my feet hurt, right? And I have no idea what it is, like how to fix it. Then there are people that are aware of solution. Someone told you, okay, so there are shoes that pretty much like you can wear them and your pain just eliminated, right? So that's the type of people. And obviously, the more you go, by this awareness, kind of like stage, then your market becomes smaller. So there are less people that know that there are shoes that are, can eliminate the pain than there are people that just know they have pain, right? So the bigger the market is, obviously the more potential there is to advertise and to scale your advertising, but also you would have to do a better job in educating people. So product aware, for example, people would know your brand, and all you would need to do is just to give them a good price. For example, people would be on your website, but maybe price was too high, so then you just hit them with retargeting. And there are most aware people where you would just have, maybe they already bought from you, so you would just have like a simple offer deal, new product. You wouldn't have to convince them a lot. So back to Mary, right? So, she's been very active all her life, and we pulled the stats that 69% of American retirees, they practice jogging, right? So most likely, they have the problem, with feet. Then we've identified that she cannot do that, what she loves, because she has the pain in her feet. And we identified that 77% of American pensioners, they complain of leg pain, right? So we identified these data points that actually support our assumptions. And then Mary's looking for possible solution on her favorite medical websites. And then we identified that over 3 million Americans have had leg surgery for the last 5 years. So all of this data is, you can just Google it, you can identify it and find it within 5 minutes. When we identified that, that 82% of American retirees are active Facebook users, right? So it's also freely available data that will take you like 5 minutes to research. So these are kind of like the major things. We have built this, base, and you can do this for any product. Whatever the product is, you can just build it, this within like few hours. And again, once you do it once or twice, you'll have better understanding of your customers. You'll be able to create better angles, better ads, and also you'll be able to, pass it to your media buyers. I'll show you exactly how to do it. So 7 powerful psychological angles that can sell your product. So first one is the pain point. So when you're focusing on pain points, so for example, this ad is focusing, so said, don't get that dreaded snowfall of dandruff on your shirts, right? It's kind of like identifying the pain point exactly in the ad, and then explaining how this solution helps. Then another one here, so feeling irrelevant in your boring old work shirt, right? So again, pain point. People might not feel like very confident when they're wearing shirts, right? So it's kind of like providing this solution, shows the problem and shows the solution in one ad, pretty much in one creative. So another one here from Snow. So we turn yellow tees into pearly whites, right? So very simple, very easy to understand. Another one here, save time. Just the timeline of the ads. We have to be careful with Facebook policies, but sometimes it flies by. So the again, bonobos. So imagine a work plan that fits so well. So you own one for every day of the week, right? So just saving time because you just buy 10 of those and just don't think about closing. Another one here, like 9 minutes, like 10 minutes to white your teeth on a daily basis. So one in a lifetime. So these are simple. This is typical dropshipping offer, like 50% off, 30% off, 75% off. So these are very simple. Would offer here for Black Friday. So emotional connection. We're using people, and especially people that are looking directly at at you when you're scrolling. So you'll see like most of the successful ads that have people in them. So they tell the story. So this one in particular tells the story of the founder of the company and how why he came down to developing that product. This one here also tells the story. Here it's like using influencers combined with paid advertising and also showing the results like all in one ad. So this one is very powerful. Social proof before and after. You have to be careful with it, but sometimes we get it improved. So it basically just showing the results and showing like how many people have used the product. So kind of shows the effectiveness of it. Another one here shows the influencer again, social proof. Again, 500,000 happy customers and 16,000 5-star reviews. Social proof. So these are very simple things, right? You can just implement it very simple in a very fast way. So very simple ingredients you've heard of, quality natural ingredients. Just very simple message. Again here, very simple. It's not quantum physics, just a better way to make pants. Simplicity here. You sit at home, you watch the Wendy show, you whiten your teeth. Very simple to use the product. So you kind of eliminate all of the possible objections from our initial research, right? Again, it comes down to that initial research, comes down to that avatar. And then we're just hitting all of those points with that. This is the whole Facebook advertising thing. So read some reviews from satisfied Bird brand customers. So you basically eliminate the risk and show that there are a lot of people that have tried the product before. You're not the first. You don't risk anything. Another one here. So free shipping and returns. And this one, get the results or we'll 100% refund you. No risks. So this is the accelerated creative testing process to validate scalable creatives with Facebook ads. Because you can only scale the creative that's scalable. You can only scale angles that are scalable. So once you've identified that, you can scale them. So these are the best practices for these. Just work for most cases. Obviously, there are a lot of different placements, a lot of different platforms. You can customize your sizes. You can customize the creative itself, but this will work for 90% of times. So product or person using the product shown vividly, right? So you can utilize, either show the product or you can show the person using the product. You can have the concise ad copy up to 280 characters, just a few kind of main pain points. Then use mobile compatible formats, so it's either 1:1 or 4:5 videos. Videos are short and can be watched with sound off, so the captions captions would identify these main bullet points that have came from initial research. So again, it just comes down to back to that research. It comes again and again, and you just repurposing it. Put your unique selling point in the headline, and then use faces whenever possible, because Facebook can identify whether there is a person smiling in the ad, and Facebook gives you higher relevancy score. That's a very simple way to have higher relevancy score. Do not just run one test with the creative, so we have 4 or 5 different ad sets with the same creatives to make sure that we're excluding outliers. So because one creative might work with one audience, but not necessarily with others. We're looking for creatives that can be scaled with multiple audiences. Then ran a parallel PPE campaign with same ads. So we just copy the post ID, drop them into PPE campaign, and run them to accumulate the social proof, lower the CPMs, and get more proof on your ads. And then again, if you that's where I think a lot of people are overspending, because if your ads are not good, they're not scalable, right? There is no point of spending more on them; they'll not get better. So you spend like $5,100. If your KPIs are very poor, and I'll show you exactly what KPIs we are aiming for, like personally, you just kill them and try new variations. Then you haven't tracked it yet if they're not getting good results and good ROAS. So for me, like, these are the metrics I watch out for. So click-through rate, link, unique, over 3%. This is not the case with all products, but with like most of the products that we see like a lot of traction with, and we're able to scale, to $100, $200, $500,000 per month, $1 million per month in ad spend. These are the metrics. So click-through rate, link, unique, over 3%, and then CPC, link, unique, less than $1, and average watch time of 10 seconds plus. So that's ideally, right? If you have a video, that would be like long watch time, because again, Facebook will give you the preference if your videos are watched for a long time. So these are some of the stats here, like this here. You can see the click-through rate here. I don't know if you're able to see it, like 7%, 784%. Cost per unique link click is $1.05. So cost per link click is a bit on the higher side, but click-through rate is where it needs to be. Now, here's a case study. So basically how we created like profitable campaign from zero using this process. So we had the data in that account. It was like, no, not in this ad account, but we had data from other ad accounts, and we've had, kind of like some insights, but pretty much we went through the same process. And we used spy tools to identify what worked in the past. So pretty much we went, through the same process that, I just showed you. So that was our goal here, like getting into $5,000 a day in spend in 30 days. ROAS needed to be 1.8, and it was a brand new account. So testing ads. So we started with basically 4 ads, different targeting options for these like 4 different avatars, outlining these, kind of like benefits of the product and targeting these avatars. So we test both ABO and CBO. So ABO is good for testing. We still use it. I know most people, switching to CBOs, and it will be mandatory, but we're still having good results with ABO. So in the middle of the day, we launched retargeting campaigns. We already got the good data on the pixel. We want to retarget those people. Then we calibrating campaigns, getting into $1,300 a day, creating and basically we're scaling new CBOs. And then we also add new ads to refresh the content. We scale old successful campaigns, and we duplicate them with bigger budget, 30 to 50% more than the original one. And then we also increase the spend on the middle and bottom of the funnel, because we're getting more people into our funnel, so we want to retarget them because the returns there are on the bottom of the funnel are good. So when testing new ads, we start with different variations, and do not afraid to spend money on testing, because like one good creative can make you a lot of money. So we find 1-2 copies of winning ads, and if you haven't found those like good ads with good ROAS, you haven't cracked it yet. These are not scalable. Don't put more money into them. Just basically test new ads and find your winners. So these are the ads that have performed the best. See the ROAS here. So this one is just throughout most of the ads just performed the best. And then we create new copies similar to your winners, right? So basically creating that same concept as you can see here, right? We just change the dog here, and that's it. Then further scaling to $2,700 a day. We continue to create new CBOs with successful testing sites. We're duplicating the best campaigns, doubling the budget. And we test also new targeting options and new ads on lower budgets with ABO. And we also set automatic rules to turn off bad ads as quickly as possible if they're not working. And then 925, we're reaching the goal of $5,000 a day. So we identify like 3-4 ads, we're scaling those, like we're putting basically the most money into ads that have proven to work the best, and just scaling that way with big audiences of at least 10 million people. These are the stats. So we spent 111,000 generate 235. We hit our KPI goals. So how to find, train, and manage ad buyers and creative geniuses to replicate this process? So first thing is look for people with a mindset and skill that are different than yours. So if you can find people, for example, if you're very creative, you need to find a more analytical person. And ideally that person would have both analytical and creative side. Then great media buyers that can adapt to any product. So that's what I found where, whatever the product, the person can figure out the process, and especially if they do this research at the beginning. Create checklists to follow up all of the main tasks. So once you do it, if you do it more than once, then just document it and have it done. For example, this process, you can just document it and have it done every single time for every product that you do. Loom is a time saver. If you're using Loom, it will allow you to basically create these kind of tutorials and fast explanations for the products. So do not only measure their immediate results. If you see the good attitude from media buyers and they keep learning, also at the beginning they're not as successful, just give them more time, because if they have the good attitude, if they have the passion, just give them more time. Typically it takes at least 3 to 6 months to train a media buyer properly, and oftentimes it's even more. And provide them all the training and all resources they need, buy them training, or just dedicate your own time to pass that experience. Look for obsessive freaks. So look for people that watch other people's ads, work 7 days a week. So that's we hire only. We don't hire people that work 8 hours a day. We hire people that work 12 hours a day and love it. So create new tasks and challenges for them. So just take away that boring stuff from them, that repetitive tasks, and give them something new, some new projects where they have to explore new things. And motivate them with appropriate rewards. Obviously, you have to pay them properly, and the best compensation structure I found is giving them the base pay, which would cover their main expenses, but then also give them the bonuses, right, if they perform and hit the KPIs that you have with them. So to wrap it up, with right attitude, correct approach, everyone can scale their Facebook ad campaigns. So great ads, they sell on themselves. If you do this process properly, you will be able to find these ads that are scalable, utilize human psychology in your creatives and copies. Pretty much it comes down to that initial research. And do not do everything yourself. Gather a team of motivated media buyers once you figure it out and pass it to them. So you can find the slides here if you want to. So alexfedotov.com/1. So you can go just here to download. We have some slides for you, and basically the things that you can download to. The things that how we operate in our agency. And we have Q&A. Yeah.
High five. Boom. Let's do this. All right. When creating avatars, it's a lot of guessing too, isn't it? You can't just say she likes to walk her dog at 5 p.m. on Sundays, etc. It's a bit of a stretch. No, it's a weird question. Good question. I'm trying to structure it better for you. So, how would you answer that?
So, it's definitely at the beginning it's assumption, right? And you test that assumption. So, for example, initially, if you work with some market, and if, for example, if you have some initial customers, that becomes easy because you can just talk to your customers, right? Then what I just showed is you can go to your customers' pages. You can go even on their Instagram pages and see what they do. And they say they have photos, walking with their dogs at 5 a.m. in the morning. So it's assumption, but also it can be validated assumption if you do this research prior to launching your ads.
Okay, very, very good. Also, that was a great question. I just read it weird. You're great. Love you. How do you find competitor ads?
Competitor, you just know your competitor. So for example, if you don't know who's selling similar product as you, you can just search the keywords with AdSpy, for example, and you can find the companies that are advertising selling similar products. If you know your competitors' websites, you just put the URL of your competitor's website into AdSpy, and you see all of their ads.
You like to use AdSpy? AdSpy is one of your favorite tools? I love AdSpy.
Yeah,
I use it every day. AdSpy is the greatest. Out of all the 7 psychological angles, what works best and why? I like this. I like this from the copywriting standpoint too. This is
This
great.
one is good. I think like social proof and emotional connection. I think that one